Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow more beautiful with age, while others grow bitter, lonely, and small? The truth is, it's not just the years that shape us. It's the habits we fall into, the choices we make when no one is looking, the small things that either brighten our spirit or darken it over time. I have lived a long life. I have watched friends, neighbors, and loved ones walk the long path of aging. Some grew into their later years like oak trees, steady, graceful, full of life. Others shrank into shadows of who they once were. Today, I want to share with you something most people are too polite to say. 12 ugly things seniors do as they age. Things no one warns you about, but that can quietly steal your joy, your dignity, and your light if you're not careful. And more importantly, how you can avoid them. The first ugly thing is bitterness. I once knew a man named Walter, strong as an ox, proud as a king. But after losing his wife and facing some hard years, he let bitterness set in like a slow rot. He stopped seeing the good in anything. He carried anger like a badge of honor. Bitterness turns a warm heart cold. It pushes away the very people who could offer comfort. It blinds you to the beauty still left in life. If you feel bitterness creeping in, don't feed it, starve it. Feed gratitude instead. The second ugly thing is constant complaining. Complaints about the weather, about young people, about prices, about aches and pains. Every conversation turns sour when complaints rule it. The more you complain, the more the world feels heavy and unfair. And the less people want to be near you. Instead, practice speaking about small joys. Find something good to say even on the hardest days. The third ugly thing is living only in the past. Nostalgia is sweet, but if you live there too long, it becomes a prison. I had an aunt who could not stop talking about how things used to be better. She missed every beautiful thing happening right in front of her. Your life is not over. There are still sunsets to watch, still hands to hold, still laughter to share. Treasure the past, but live in today. The fourth ugly thing is giving up on appearance. No, I'm not talking about chasing youth. I'm talking about showing yourself respect. Clean clothes, brushed hair, a little care in how you present yourself. When you care for your appearance, you send a message. I am still alive, I am still proud. I am still worth seeing. The fifth ugly thing is becoming controlling. Trying to control your children's lives, your grandchildren's choices, the way others live their days. Control doesn't feel like love, it feels like chains. Offer your wisdom, yes, but let go of the need to dictate. Freedom is the greatest gift you can give the people you love. If you find these words speaking to something deep inside you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps spread these life lessons to others who are walking the same path. The sixth ugly thing is withdrawing from the world. Some seniors decide that life is over and retreat. They stop joining activities, stop calling friends, stop seeking new joys. Isolation is a slow death. Stay engaged, stay curious, stay connected. The seventh ugly thing is growing judgmental. The world changes, clothing styles change, music changes, ideas change. It's easy to sit back and say, it's all wrong now. But judgment closes the heart. It builds walls instead of bridges. Stay curious. Ask questions, laugh at the changes, learn from them. The eighth ugly thing is hoarding, both things and emotions. Hoarding old newspapers, broken furniture, decades of junk, just in case. But worse is hoarding anger. Resentments, regrets, clear the clutter, clear the heart. Travel light into the next chapters of your life. The ninth ugly thing is refusing help. Pride is a heavy burden. Accepting help does not make you weak, it makes you wise. When you let someone carry a heavy bag for you, you are giving them a gift too, the gift of helping someone they love. The 10th ugly thing is losing hope. Hope is not naive, hope is brave. Hope says, there is still good ahead, even if I cannot see it today. Without hope, we stop moving forward, we shrink. Hold tight to hope, even if you have to fight for it some days. The 11th ugly thing is resisting joy. Somewhere along the way, some people decide that joy is for the young, that laughter is silly, that dreams are foolish, not true. Joy belongs to anyone brave enough to reach for it. Dance, sing, tell jokes, take silly pictures. Laugh until your sides hurt. Joy is not childish, it is courageous. And the 12th ugly thing is forgetting to love. Love is not something you outgrow. It is something you deepen. Love your family, love your friends. Love the stranger who smiles at you in the grocery store. Every act of love you give in these years shines brighter than gold. If you are still here with me, thank you. Take a moment to comment below. Tell me which of these 12 spoke loudest to your heart today. And if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe. Together, we are building a community where aging is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced with wisdom, dignity, and joy. Stay with me because ahead, I will share personal stories, gentle encouragement, and simple steps you can take to live these years as the most beautiful years of your life. There's a strange thing that happens as we get older. People stop telling us the truth. They don't want to hurt our feelings. They think we're too fragile. So instead of speaking plainly, they smile and nod while quietly backing away from the parts of us they find hard to be around. But not here, not today. Here we speak honestly because I believe that truth is a gift. We've talked about the 12 ugly things seniors do as they age. But now let's talk about what happens if we don't face those things. Because when we ignore them, they don't go away. They grow, and they begin to shape the very core of our days. Let's take a deeper look at how each one shows up quietly and how we can gently turn it around one simple decision at a time. Take bitterness, for example. Bitterness isn't always loud. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just sits quietly in the corners of our hearts, coloring everything gray. A bitter person wakes up already disappointed. Nothing is ever quite good enough. And worst of all, they stop believing people are good. The way out of bitterness isn't to wait for life to be perfect. It's to start looking for small blessings and naming them out loud. A warm cup of tea, a bird singing on the fence, a memory that still makes you smile. Bitterness starves when you feed gratitude. What about complaining? It sneaks up on you. You think you're just being honest. But over time, people stop calling, stop inviting you. Not because they don't care, but because they don't have the strength to carry your sorrow and their own. Try this instead. Every time you feel like complaining, pause, take a breath. Then speak of something you love instead. You'll be amazed at how people lean in closer. Living in the past, it's like carrying a heavy suitcase through every day. Yes, those years were sweet. But today has its own sweetness if you'll make room for it. Try this, start one new ritual. It doesn't have to be big, a morning walk, a new recipe, a weekly lunch with a neighbor, something that pulls you into now, neglecting appearance. You don't need to look like a movie star, but take the time to wash your face. Comb your hair, put on something clean, not for others, for you. You deserve to look in the mirror and see someone who still shines, being controlling. That one's sneaky. It disguises itself as caring. I just want what's best for them, we say, but real love is humble. Real love allows others to learn even when they fall. Try this. Instead of giving advice right away, ask questions. Listen, say, I trust your judgment. That one sentence can heal a relationship. Withdrawing from life? Sometimes we do it out of sadness, sometimes out of fear. But either way, it shrinks our world. Start with one simple outreach. Call a friend, say yes to an invitation, invite someone over for tea. You don't need a crowd, you just need connection, becoming judgmental. It feels like wisdom, but really it's just a shield. Try instead to be fascinated. When a young person shares something wild or strange, say, tell me more. You might just learn something new. If these reminders are speaking to your heart, please like this video and subscribe. Every bit of support helps us grow a space where honesty and love can live side by side. Now let's keep going. Hoarding isn't always about possessions. Sometimes it's hoarding old hurts. Refusing to let go of what someone said 20 years ago. What if today, right now, you decided to set it down? That anger doesn't protect you, it traps you. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't matter. It means you matter enough to stop carrying it. Refusing help, that pride, that stubborn streak, it's not strength. Real strength is saying, yes, thank you. It creates closeness. It allows others to love you in return. Next time someone offers, say yes. Then smile and say, you've made my day easier. You'll both feel lighter. Losing hope. Hope doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. Hope says, even if today is hard, tomorrow could still be beautiful. Protect that flame like it's the most sacred thing you own. Because it is. Resisting joy can feel silly, undignified, but it's what keeps us young. Go play cards, sing an old song, plant something in the yard. Tell a joke that makes no sense at all. The world needs your laughter. It reminds us all how to live, and forgetting to love, that's the saddest loss of all. Don't shut down. Don't stop reaching. Don't stop telling the people in your life, I love you. Send a note, make a call, offer a hug. Love is what stays after we're gone. If you're still here with me, thank you. You are part of a rare and precious group, those who want to age not just with years but with meaning. Please take a moment to comment below. Tell me one small change you want to make this week. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It keeps this circle of wisdom growing, one heart at a time. The truth is, aging can be beautiful, but it takes courage, it takes awareness. It takes the decision again and again to become softer, wiser, and more generous, not smaller, colder, and bitter. You have the power to shape how your story unfolds from here. And I promise you, it's never too late to make it a story worth telling. There's something deeply freeing about naming the hard truths. Once you name them, they lose their grip. You can begin to loosen the hold they've had on you for years. You can begin again, even now. One thing I've come to learn, and I mean this with every ounce of my experience, is that how we age has less to do with our bodies and more to do with our hearts. I've met people in their 80s who seem younger than those in their 50s. Why? Because they stayed soft, they stayed generous, they stayed awake to the wonder of being alive. So let me tell you what aging gracefully really looks like. Not from the magazines, not from some fancy article, but from the quiet wisdom passed down in kitchens, on front porches, and in late-night talks with people who have seen a lifetime. Aging well means choosing forgiveness over resentment, again and again. It means choosing connection over comfort. It means choosing curiosity over control. These aren't easy choices, but they are the ones that keep our hearts full, even when the rest of the world tells us to shrink. Let me share a few stories that taught me these truths. There was an old man named Tom in my community. Tom had every reason to be bitter. His son moved away and barely called. His wife passed after a long illness. And he had to give up driving, something that felt like losing his wings. But every morning, Tom would walk down to the park. He'd sit on the same bench with a book in his hand and a smile on his face. One day I asked him, "Tom, what keeps you smiling?" He said, "I stopped expecting life to be fair, and I started being grateful that I get one more chance to be kind." That's wisdom. Then there was Eleanor. Eleanor was known in our town as the Tea Lady. She had a porch full of flowers and a kettle always on. What most people didn't know is that Eleanor had lost 2 children in her life. Not a day passed where she didn't carry that sorrow. But you'd never know it from the way she welcomed people. Teenagers, strangers, grumpy neighbors. She always had room for one more cup of tea. She used her sorrow as soil. And from that, she grew something beautiful. That's resilience. These are the kinds of seniors we need to be, not the kind who shout at clouds, not the kind who gossip at every chance, not the kind who wait around for the phone to ring and then complain when it doesn't. We must be the kind who find new ways to serve, the kind who bring light into rooms, the kind who remember that age is not a reason to harden, it's a reason to soften. If you're finding strength in these stories, please like this video and subscribe. You help make sure this message keeps reaching people who might need it more than they know. Now let's talk about what comes next. Let's talk about how we take everything we've named bitterness, judgment, withdrawal, fear, and turn it into something else entirely. We turn it into blessing. We become the elder who listens without needing to fix. We become the grandmother who still dances in the kitchen. We become the neighbor who knows the names of the kids on the block. That's who I want to be. That's who I hope you want to be too. Because the truth is, we are still needed, not just tolerated, needed. The world is desperate for wisdom that's wrapped in kindness, for patience that's born from experience, for laughter that bubbles up even when life is hard. But it won't happen by accident. It happens when we wake up every morning and say, "Today, I choose to stay open. Today, I choose to be a blessing." And you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to keep trying. One kind word, one moment of listening, one decision to forgive. That's how we shape these years into something beautiful. And when people look back at our lives, they won't remember how fast we walked or how few wrinkles we had. They'll remember how they felt in our presence. So I ask you, what kind of elder do you want to be? You get to decide, not the calendar, not your diagnosis, not what's already happened, you, and it starts today. Stay with me because there's still more to share, still more stories, still more truth. Because you, my friend, are not done yet, not even close. There's something powerful about realizing that your best moments might still be ahead of you, even if you have more yesterdays behind you than tomorrows. It's humbling, and it's freeing. I once heard a wise man say, "Old age is not a punishment, it's a privilege denied to many." When we understand that, when we truly let that sink into our bones, we start living differently. We stop wasting time on grudges. We stop shrinking away from life. We stop wishing things were different and start treasuring what is. I want to tell you about a woman named Clara. Clara lived to be 102 years old, and until the day she passed, she wrote one letter every week. To someone she loved, to someone who needed encouragement, to someone she barely knew but heard was going through a hard time. She said it was her way of weaving love into the world. Think about that. Over decades, she sent thousands of letters. Some were short, some were long, all were sincere. Many people at her funeral stood up and said the same thing. "I still have the letter Clara sent me." We often think we need to do something grand to matter, but often it's the quiet, steady, small things that leave the biggest mark. Kindness builds legacies far stronger than monuments ever could. Now some days you'll feel too tired, too sore, too discouraged, and that's okay. Rest if you need to, cry if you must, but don't give up. There is someone out there who needs what only you can offer. Maybe it's your wisdom. Maybe it's your patience. Maybe it's your humor. Or maybe it's simply your presence, a quiet witness to the beauty and struggle of being alive. If you believe in leaving behind a legacy of love and light, please like this video and subscribe. You being part of this journey matters more than you know. Now, let's get very practical. How do we guard ourselves against the 12 ugly habits we talked about? Here's what I've learned from watching those who aged with beauty and grace. First, they kept moving. Not just their bodies, though that's important, but their minds and hearts too. They kept learning. They kept loving. They kept forgiving. Second, they stayed grateful. Every morning before their feet hit the floor, they thought of one thing they were thankful for. Third, they served. They found a way to give back even if it was small. They baked cookies for neighbors. They called someone who was lonely. They knitted blankets for hospitals. Service keeps the heart young. Fourth, they laughed. Not every day was easy, but they looked for reasons to laugh, and when they couldn't find one, they made one. Fifth, they forgave quickly. Not because others always deserved it, but because they refused to carry bitterness one more mile. Sixth, they stayed curious. They asked questions. They listened to new ideas. They stayed open. The moment you stop being curious is the moment you start growing old, not in body but in spirit. And that spirit matters more than anything. Stay close because we're not done yet. Ahead, I'll share the most important habit of all, the one thing that turns the ugly parts of aging into something shining and beautiful. You won't want to miss it. The greatest habit I've ever witnessed in those who aged beautifully was this: they never stopped loving. Love, my friend, is the true secret. Not love that demands, not love that clings, not love that counts the cost, but love that simply flows like a river, steady and generous. They loved their families. They loved their neighbors. They loved strangers they'd never meet again. They even loved themselves with all their wrinkles, all their scars, all their hard-won wisdom. They understood that love isn't just an emotion, it's a choice, a practice, a way of being in the world. Every day they chose to look at life through the eyes of love, and it changed everything. When you choose love, bitterness loses its power. Complaining seems foolish. The past becomes a treasure, not a trap. Appearance becomes an act of self-respect, not vanity. Control turns into trust. Isolation melts into connection. Judgment gives way to curiosity. Hoarding softens into generosity. Pride humbles itself into graceful acceptance. Despair bends toward hope. Stubbornness becomes playful joy, and fear of loss is replaced by the fullness of giving. Love is the antidote to every ugly thing we've spoken about. And the beautiful truth is, you don't have to wait another moment to choose it. You can begin right now. Pick up the phone and call someone you miss. Write a kind note to a neighbor. Smile at a stranger. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made. Love without needing anything in return. If this idea touches your heart, if you feel the stirrings of new hope even now, please like this video and subscribe. You are not alone on this journey. We are a circle of travelers learning how to walk home together. Now, before we close, let me leave you with one final story. There was an old tree in the center of our town. It was gnarled and bent. Its bark was rough. Its branches had been broken by storms, but every spring without fail it would bloom, bright green leaves, small white flowers, birdsong in its highest branches. One day I asked an old gardener why that tree still bloomed so beautifully, even after all it had suffered. He said, "It's not the strength of the branches that matters, it's the strength of the roots." And so it is with us. You don't have to be the fastest, or the smartest, or the strongest. You simply need strong roots. Roots in kindness, roots in gratitude, roots in hope, roots in love. These are the things that will hold you steady when life's storms come. These are the things that will keep you blooming year after year, even as time weathers your outer form. So let your roots grow deep, deep in love. And trust that no matter what comes, you will endure, you will thrive, you will shine. Because you, my dear friend, are far more beautiful, far more needed, and far more powerful than you have ever been told. Until we meet again, stay tender, stay brave, and most of all, stay full of love. You've made it to the heart of the story, and now here we are ready to talk about the one thing that transforms everything else. The final thread that ties it all together. Presence. Not the kind you wrap in shiny paper. Not the kind that costs money. I'm talking about being present. There is nothing more powerful in this world than a person who chooses to show up fully, honestly, and with an open heart. Being present doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means sitting with someone and saying, "I'm here, you matter, this moment matters." So many seniors, without realizing it, start drifting. They become ghosts in their own homes. Quiet at family dinners, absent during conversations, not because they don't care, but because they've forgotten how much their presence means. You matter, your voice, your laughter, your opinion, your listening ear, your calm in a storm. All of it matters more than you think. You don't have to give advice to be wise. Sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is sit quietly beside someone and hold space for them. Presence is what your grandchildren will remember. It's what your neighbors will feel when you walk by. It's the energy you leave in every room you visit. Let your presence be soft. Let it be kind. Let it be full of grace. And let it be enough, because it is. That is the final habit. The one that turns all the others into gold. Presence keeps you from bitterness because it roots you in now. It silences constant complaints because it teaches contentment. It frees you from living in the past because today becomes a gift again. It brings dignity back to your appearance because you remember that how you show up matters. It loosens your grip on control because you trust that being with someone is more valuable than running their life. It draws you back from isolation because your company is a gift. It quiets judgment because it opens your heart to see people as they are. It loosens hoarding because now is enough. It softens pride because love can flow more freely. It revives hope because this moment is always full of possibility. It invites joy because laughter lives in presence. And it awakens love because love lives in the now. This is the path. This is the light. This is what turns those 12 ugly things into a dozen bright candles lighting your way forward. If you've made it to the end of this message, you're part of something rare. You are part of a movement, a quiet, powerful movement of people who choose to age with purpose, with softness, and with strength. Please take one last moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps others find this message. It helps us keep growing this space. And it reminds us all that we are never alone. And if you feel moved to share, I'd love to know, what's one thing you're going to do differently starting today? Leave a comment. Start a conversation. This is your space too. Let's rewrite the story of aging together. Let's walk into these years not with fear, but with clarity, not with regret, but with intention, not with hardness, but with a heart wide open. Because the truth is, you are not fading. You are unfolding, and the world still needs what only you can give.